there are some people who are a bit taboo about this. They don't really want to have a conversation about it because of obviously the stigma that surrounds it. But if you deep it, and I mean really deep it, this has been around for billions of years. Fungi has existed way before we were here. If in actual fact, if it weren't for fungi, we wouldn't be here. I mean, people would be like, really? Yeah, really. If it was not for fungi inhabiting this earth, life on earth would not exist as we see it. The trees would not grow. The animals in the water wouldn't be there. We on earth wouldn't be walking around, and in actual fact, according to Terence and Dennis McKenna, the stoned ape theory, if it weren't for our ancestors, our Neanderthal, and even prior to that, primate ancestors eating mushrooms, apparently our brains wouldn't have grown and wouldn't have developed to what they are now. So we owe a lot to them. Welcome everyone everywhere to another installment of the Elite Thinking Club. I'm Chris Jules Julien. I'm joined tonight with my co-hosts Liz Barker and Michael Houchen. You guys all right?
Yeah, we're
good.
What an amazing week we've had. We've managed to gain 200 subscribers on the YouTube in 7 days. How flipping magical is that?
That is incredible.
Honestly, massive shout outs to everybody that's subscribed and following us. We are a platform dedicated to critical thinking. That is all we do here on the Elite Thinking Club. So the fact that you're now following us and you're involved too, that makes you an Elite Thinking Club member, which, congratulations, you're here to start thinking with us. When I said the word magical, which is what I really want to talk about tonight, Liz, Michael, I wanted to talk about fungi and the magic in mushrooms. I know. Go on, Liz.
They really are magical. I watched that amazing documentary on Netflix, Fantastic Fungi. I think recommended it to me, and it absolutely blew my mind because it showed as well, like it showed inside the mushroom, like how it works, how it goes into, like literally it is the earth going into the earth and fixes things and grows, and it just never stops growing. It just keeps creating, doesn't it?
That's it. It is.
And as on human beings, I think is amazing as well. And that's why they're called magic.
They are very magical. Michael, sorry, Liz. What was that?
I must admit, years ago, I had a completely different perception of them because, like most things that are good for us or that open our minds or that are genuine medicine, you get told that they're really bad. And my perception of magic mushrooms was, like, I was scared about them, and I thought, oh God, they're strange, they're weird. But I'm older and I've looked into it more, researched it, and experienced different things. I kind of have a completely different perception of them, and I think they're amazing.
Amazing. Michael, what do you know about mushrooms?
Well, that's just a couple of species of them. But yeah, I was just reading that so there's around 144,000 species, but scientists reckon there could be as much as 5 million.
Yes, that is true. There are over, well, I've got 20,000 different species of mushrooms, which, by the way, mushrooms are the fruit of fungi. Fungi is the mold that grows in everything, and mushrooms are the fruit of their labor. So, just so you're aware, not all mushrooms are good for us, okay? It's like berries, right? On bushes. Some berries are very good. Strawberries, blueberries, you know where I'm going with it, but some are poisonous berries. So be very careful if you're, going to explore and start going out in the wilderness and finding all these different mushrooms. Be very, very careful to check, which is also important to note that there's a very famous mushroom, and I don't have the exact name for it, but you know it and I know it. It's the red one with the white dots on it, the white little specks on it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
You've seen them? I've seen them too, Liz, and I've just looked at them and thought they're amazing. Look at these lovely looking things.
Yeah, I saw them in Norway.
Right, in Norway. In the North.
And yeah, myself and my friend, we saw them, and there was lots of different types of mushrooms there, and they were all amazing.
So in the comments, we've got people showing the emoji. They're used on an emoji on your phones. That one, the red with white dots. Someone also said, Super Mario. They're on Mario, which is true. They are.
And it does magical when he gets a mushroom, doesn't he? Go all like
he gets superpower. Yeah, he grows. He doubles up. He powers up. Yeah.
Yeah, he grows. It's the star that makes him go mental.
Oh yeah, the star makes him go nuts, but the mushroom makes him grow up, grow. Amanita. I can't even spell it. Amanita. I don't know. There we go. Right, so it's getting close to Christmas, right? And there's this fascinating story that comes with that mushroom. And that story is, because Liz, you just said it, you was in Norway when you found them, which is a Nordic country with a lot of snow. Now, as the story goes, back in the day, people were snowed in. They couldn't get out of their homes. The only hatch available was the chimney, right? So there's this shaman by the name of Saint Nicholas or something like that used to go around and make people's Christmases that little bit better by foraging these red mushrooms with white caps or white little dots on the caps, and he used to pop them down the chimney. Hence why this tradition of Santa Claus sending gifts down the chimney is kind of evolved. But not only that, the fear, it goes further. In those countries, there is a lot of reindeer, and like most animals, they will eat any vegetation available when it's scarce, including these mushrooms. So we know that these mushrooms hold some magical power in them and gives Mario, for example, a little bit more power than usual. So these reindeer are known for jumping very high without the help of mushrooms. They jump higher with the help of these mushrooms. They have this power to leap through the air, and hence why we probably think now that there's these flying reindeer. So if you see these reindeer catapulting themselves across the sky, and there's this man going around dropping mushrooms down the chimney. And here's another thing too. In order to eat these mushrooms, because they're high in toxicity, they're not actually good for us. They could potentially kill us. They damage to the liver and all that sort of stuff. You have to cure them. And the only way to do that is to dry them out. So if you have a chimney and you've got the fire on, you put them in your socks, hang them by the fire, and there you've got your stockings. So all these traditions of Christmas are surrounded by this red and white mushroom. Got your Saint Nick, got your reindeer, you got your stockings. Kind of all makes sense where it all came from. Didn't know if you knew that. Maybe you did. Maybe you did.
I love how you just told us like a little story. I feel like I was hearing a little Christmas story there. I love that. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, it makes sense now you hear it like that.
Yeah,
because he couldn't go in the front door. They were snowed in.
I think people probably did have more experience with it back in the olden days, because foraging, I think, was more of a thing as well.
Yes,
because
100%.
when didn't have when people didn't have much, they would go out and forage for berries and mushrooms and things. So there's probably a few people out there that went foraging and had a really good time afterwards, not realizing.
Definitely. Hit us with some facts, Michael. What facts you got on these mushrooms?
So, fungi aren't plants. They belong to their own kingdom, separate from plants and animals.
That's right. They're not an animal. They're not a plant. Go on, Liz.
Magic mushrooms can alter the way the brain works, grow new brain cells, dissolve the ego, and clear fear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we just leapt from... Okay, cool. Yeah. That's true, Liz. Yeah, you're 100% right. We just okay. Let's take that one step at a time. First off, mushrooms are not animals. They're not plants, yeah? Michael, you got any more?
Yep. So, hang on. I've just lost it. One of the most important ones. Why have I lost it? Hang on. So some fungi, like the yeast, are single-celled organisms.
Mm. Yeah.
And they play a critical role in ecosystems by breaking down organic matter and recycling nutrients.
Yes. So when what a lot of people don't know is the power of how mushrooms actually survive. They do need they're like a symbiote. So have you ever seen the film Venom with Tom Hardy? Obviously, venom is like a parasite, and it attaches itself onto something living already. Mushrooms need something to live on. They're not parasites in essence, but they are like a symbiote. Like fungi will explore. It explores like mold. And then when it finds something that it can live off of, mushrooms become the fruit of its labor, if that makes sense. So it has the power to thrive, but then also has the power to decompose things as well. And normally it's carbon-based. So what a lot of people don't know is that fungi has, and mushrooms do have, the power to break down this carbon in any form that it comes in, whether that's living being, a dying animal, dying plants, even oil. So there was a test experiment done where they actually had Petri dishes with loads of different stuff on it. One of them just being oil, petrol, crude oil, raw oil. And they put mycelium fungi in there, which then started to create its own mycelium, which then started to create its own mushrooms. And the mushrooms were living off of the oil, which basically means that if we wanted to, we could clean the earth using the power of mushrooms. With all of the pollution, oil spillages in the ocean, it can all be solved by, quite literally, spreading mushrooms, spreading.
Why don't they do that?
Well, I suppose it's one step at a time, because like you mentioned, Liz, mushrooms do have the power to treat clinical depression.
Uh-huh.
They have been studied by, not just by the NHS, not just with our healthcare system. This is like globally, they've been trialing and testing this. And all we have is positive outcomes. All we're having is results.
Yeah.
And there are no negative side effects other than what we know as almost like a spiritual awakening. Like there's no other way to describe it other than people acknowledging where their depression is coming from and processing it.
Yeah.
I love that you did mention that, Liz, because something that I found to blow my mind is one of the founding one of the founding fathers of research in mushrooms is a man called Paul Stamets. This guy's name might ring a bell for a few people. He's like the mushroom guy. His story is remarkable. His personal story. And by the way, you can watch this on Fantastic Fungi on Netflix. Highly recommend it. Liz recommended it earlier. 100%. Paul describes his experience, his first mushroom consuming experience. He ate more than what is the required dose. And we'll talk about that in a bit, of what is a required dose. He ate more than the required dose, found himself having the psychedelic experience, which is, amplified vision with auditory and a lot of hallucinations. He climbed a really tall tree in the middle of a thunderstorm, and he kept saying that, stop stuttering, because prior to that, he had a stutter and he had social anxiety. So whenever he was faced with anybody, he would look away, look down at the floor, and if he tried to speak, he couldn't. He had a stutter. Anyway, after this wonderful experience, he says he came down from the tree, went to bed, woke up the next day, and the stutter had gone, and his social anxiety gone. Now, if that's not magic, I don't know what is. It's a very interesting story.
I think the power it has to almost heal so many things neurologically, like in the wild brains, and it obviously did for him with his social anxiety, which caused the stutter. That's incredible. I first started looking into it when a couple of my friends told me about microdosing.
Mm-hmm.
Sparked my interest. And then I sort of like looked into it. And then when you open up and talk to people about it a bit more, you realize there's other people in your life that have possibly microdosed or experienced mushrooms. And yeah, I'm so open to the power of them now, definitely.
Yes. And it's not something most people go out shouting, screaming about. And it's also, like you mentioned, Liz, you're very surprised at how many people have actually explored this without your knowledge. And for those, adults, should I say, it is a very adult topic, and it is also illegal to forage mushrooms. Like, you cannot forage mushrooms in the UK anyway.
How is, sorry.
Yeah, it is the law. It's the law.
Not be allowed to go out and forage in the forest, nature.
Yes, it is quite confusing, but I do believe it's to protect people who aren't aware of the dangers of the toxic ones. If we tell people just to go out there, find any old mushroom and eat it, we could have a lot of people dying on our hands. So you must make sure that you know a thing or two about the different types and species, because, Michael, Liz, can you name a couple of any mushroom, not just the magic ones? Which, by the way, they're all magic in their own way. You know what I mean?
No, I can't, because I don't actually like mushrooms. The normal. I don't actually eat mushrooms. Yeah.
Well, I do daily. 100%. Yeah.
I mean, I like mushrooms. I mean, I don't eat them daily, but I do like a nice fried mushroom.
Yeah, you got your shiitake mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms. You got your oyster, your button mushrooms. You know what I mean? There's so many different that people will have in their household. But obviously the ones we're talking about, they don't sell in the stores. You will have to go out and find them, or have a friend that knows a thing or two about them, but they are there. Liz, you're not alone on that one. A lot of people in the comments here on the TikTok don't like mushrooms too.
There's oyster mushrooms.
Lions, mate. Thank you, Truce.
Oh, that's the ones I shiitake.
Shiitake.
I take lion's mane, and I love lion's mane, but I've never it. Like, I take the powder form, or like the microdosing of lion's mane.
Some people like them, some people don't. And I suppose you got to find your flavor. You know what I mean? Once you find your flavor, that's when you'll know, these ones I like, these ones I don't. But here's the interesting part. A lot of, I say scientists, but even like not just scientists, shamans from thousands of years ago have always known about the medicinal properties of said mushrooms. Some are very good for cleaning gut health. Some are very good for, like we mentioned earlier, reprogramming the what's the word I'm looking for? Neurogenesis in your head, in your brain, And some help fight depression. Some help fight anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Some will do wonders for your hair growth. Some will do wonders for your eyes, your hearing, for example. So it's always really, I don't like the taste of them, but medicine never really tastes as nice anyway, does it?
Not the good stuff. No.
I quite like medicine.
Yeah. And if you really want to know how to do it, like, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, as Mary Poppins once said, which, by the way, is a very interesting film. If you know anything about Disney, which we've already spoke about in previous episodes, isn't it remarkable how this wonderful woman floats down from the sky, gives the kids a little bit of medicine, and away they go, jumping into painted floor colours, like pictures on the ground, and they start going on merry-go-rounds, and they start dancing on the ceiling and having a good time, dancing on the rooftop, steppy time. What the fuck did you feed those kids, Mary Poppins?
I don't know, but I want some, because I would like to jump through some art and swim in the sea with all of those creatures and dance like Dick Van Dyke.
Here we go. But that's exactly it. Spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Right. Now, obviously, the chemical compound we're speaking about within some of these magic mushrooms that help more than anything the depression side of life, and it's called psilocybin. Psilocybin is what that chemical is, and I learned this from Dr. Huberman, and you guys should definitely check him out. He talks about a lot of different stuff, but he's actually a neuroscientist, and he says that psilocybin goes into the body, reacts with the brain, and what it does is enhances the front lobe of the brain, which is auditory and visual connection. So it's amplified even more. That's how we have these, what some would describe as a psychedelic experience, because sound is enhanced and you're hearing a lot more than you normally would, and vision is enhanced, so you're seeing things start happening and moving around because the brain's trying to keep up with what you're taking in. Does that make sense? And it creates this magic experience. Now, some would also say that when you're in that state of like the psychedelic thing and you close your eyes and you start to see this layer upon layer upon layer of geometric patterns and shapes, people have this euphoric connection with something. They don't know what that thing is, but funny how everyone that's ever done it has all come to the same kind of conclusion. They all come to the same kind of realizations. They all say that they connect to some sort of higher power, some sort of God, some sort of divine protector. Do you get what I mean? And it's really, that's really interesting, wouldn't you say?
Massively so.
So my theory is that...
I think it's interesting. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Go on.
Interesting that it's not kind of... There's lots of people that are aware of the positive properties of the medicinal mushrooms. And I find it quite bizarre, actually, that we're so advanced as humans, but yet we haven't jumped on this natural source of power and source of medicine and done lots of sort of tests and dispersing of it actually into society. I know they're now starting to trial certain things, and I know that they're kind of keeping a lid on quite a bit. That's why I was fascinated by that documentary, because the guy that had the lab and that was did all of the research around it, and had his I think it was his mother that was on the documentary as well, that had cancer or something.
Sure.
Like the talks that he did, the really informative talks that he did about it, blew my mind, because I thought, why have we not jumped on this amazing source that grows in the ground around us? Why have we only just started to really kind of look into it? Why haven't we jumped on it years and years ago?
Well, it's to do with a lot of how people are keeping up with today. Like, we're always looking at the future thinking, like, I don't want to get left behind. So we're constantly chasing to stay up to date. Whereas what most people now that reach a certain stage will do is look at history. And history has shown that all civilizations were known for doing this. You can see in the ancient Aztecs and the Mayans traditions, they've got statues built dedicated to these mushrooms. You know, you can watch the TV show Vikings, and you'll see the warriors finishing a fight and, overcoming that trauma of war through the help of our psychedelic teacher, if that makes sense. And not only that, Vikings were known to go to war whilst taking those shrooms, so that way their fear of death was shedded. They used to go at it. They were not afraid at all because they were already connected to the divine. Then, get what I'm saying? So, history is definitely packed with this information. However, it's very important to remember that we do live in a day and age where some may think that there is a control agenda, that they don't want us to remember this or want us to know this. We do have to look for it ourselves. But then there's also an element of protection because, and Michael, I'm very aware you're going to ask something. I saw it in the comments. I will come back to it. Neurogenesis is powerful. People have the ability to reprogram their minds, heal past traumas, go into the archives, if you will, of all of the stuff you've buried, just to process it and come out anew, which is what most people want to do. But the truth of the matter is that if you are the type of person who has a worldview and an attachment to material beliefs or 3D consciousness, this is not for you. Because what it will do potentially is reprogram everything you've learned, everything you've grown up with, everything you know to be true, and completely smash it, completely tell you it's wrong, completely flip the world upside down for you. So consciousness is based on an animal's awareness of itself. If you have deep-seated conviction that you are what you are because of your physical form, body, you're the highest of the food chain and all this and that, these beliefs that you've installed to create your identity and your awareness of self to that degree, let's call it 3D, Trust me when I tell you that you should not do the psychedelics, because you will be catapulted to the 5D. And that place is not for people who cannot get there without the help of mushrooms. Do you get what I'm saying? Just highlighting that very specifically to some who are like, yeah, let's fucking go and do it. I'm ready for it. If you're not ready, don't do it, is what I highly recommend.
Yeah, just like look into it if you're thinking about doing something like that. Like with anything, you've got to kind of know what you're getting yourself in for, really.
100%.
And have an open mind as well, like you say.
Michael, what was it you wanted to say?
So someone asked in the TikTok, have you heard of golden teacher mushrooms?
Yes.
I have.
These are, again,
I thought you would
another... Yes, this is another species of the same psychedelic group, if you will. Yes, the GTs, they're known as the golden teachers. So each, as we've mentioned before, different type of mushroom has its own properties, if you will. Some have the power to help you with your reprogramming, your neurogenesis, so you can go into your mind and heal trauma, even help reconnect some synapses that are damaged. You can actually go back. So it can help people with Alzheimer's and their memory. It can help people who, like our founding father, Paul Stamets, with his stutter. It can help you reprogram the brain to work better, because the brain is like a elasticity, isn't it? It's not solid matter. This thing is, it can be mended like Play-Doh. As long as all of the bare bubbles get squeezed out, it's together, right? That's a metaphor. It's not how it actually works. What I'm saying is that if the neuro pathway is A to B and there's a block there, okay, what the psychedelic mushrooms have the power to do is go into it and reconnect those, is what I'm saying. So you can help develop the brain. Some obviously are for different types of healing. Some are for bodily health, gut health, heart, hearing, them sort of things. But interesting study, not just on mushrooms. This is just about entheogens. Entheogens is medicine in essence. And what the actual name entheogens is referred to as generating the God within. There is a test called the LD50. Okay, and they did this test on cats, dogs, rats, and other animals. What they came to find was that some of the things they were using on these test subjects were killing them, like 50%. That's why it's called LD50. You could Google that. I'll put the link to that in the description. What they use is things like morphine, aspirin, caffeine, nicotine, and they have found that it's a 50-50 chance whether it's going to be a positive or a negative outcome. That up against other things like mescaline, psilocybin, like we are mentioning, THC and LSD, there are no negative side effects if we used those drugs instead. Why is this important to note? Because currently in most healthcare systems, they do not prescribe mescaline, psilocybin, THC, LSD. Instead, they will prescribe morphine, aspirin, caffeine, nicotine. It's just something to highlight, because we've done an episode in the past where we talked about big pharma and all of our views and opinions, facts and figures on that. And I just wanted to say, as an elite thinking club, critical thinkers that we are, you have to ask yourself, why is it that they're happy for us? Let's take an example. A pregnant woman, she's about to go into labor, turns around and says, no, thank you. I do not want your morphine. I do not want your aspirin, your caffeine, your nicotine. It's not for me. I don't want it. Because she may be connected to the divine. She knows intuitively, this is not what I want. But if she had the option for psilocybin, THC, LSD, would she take it? Now, bearing in mind, for thousands of years, we never had hospitals. We only ever had sisterhood, previous motherhood, delivering babies into this world. And most of those tribes and ancient civilizations would have had a shaman, some sort of doctor, who was aware of the natural herbs and plants. And do you get where I'm going with this? So it's, in answer to your question, Liz, why is it that they have made this thing so illegal? Why is it? Now, I know I answered it with to protect people from, what could potentially be harmful. But also, look up that test anyway, LD50.
I think
Mind for yourself.
like cannabis, because people could grow it themselves. Because it's nature, it comes from the earth. So it's all, they make it illegal. That's their way of policing it, isn't it? And also, big pharma's not going to make a lot of money if people are naturally medicating themselves and are quite happy in going through life. I mean, the mental health sector, with regards to like antidepressants, that is a major big business for big pharma. Massively so. I keep saying that recently. Massively so. I don't know where I've got that. Do you ever do that where you just like keep saying the same words a lot?
I like it, Liz. I like it. Use it. Massively so.
Yeah, I feel like I have to highlight it. Like, yeah, and I like, a lot of the there's been so many like different documentaries and programs recently about big pharma and about I don't know if some people are aware of the program that was called Dope Sick. I think we spoke about it before. Like in America, when they've been prescribing all of these like dangerous antidepressants, actually. And I just think, why don't they give people psilocybin? Why don't they, if they know there's certain mushrooms that work and that are safe, why are they not pushing that on people? Because that would be better for people's well-being and for their mental health and for their whole neurologically, that would be great for them. So
yes.
I just find it so backwards that we're supposed to be so advanced, yet we don't go back to nature when, like you said, we have survived so many years.
Yes.
Is without all of the chemicals, without all of the toxins, without all of this man-made medicine. And like you just said, without all this machinery when we give birth, we used to be giving birth in hay and in the forest and up a mountain, side of the stream,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Michael, I know you're listening intently, so I'll let you consider unless you have something to say.
Well, we've got another question.
Go on.
What would help with anxiety?
What would help with anxiety? Just to cover our asses, we're not actually telling you what you should or shouldn't do.
Yeah,
we are
not taking.
Yeah, we are literally just exploring, as the Elite Thinking Club does. We're proposing it as critical thinkers to see unbiasedly different topics, but obviously gathering everything we've said, it's definitely up to you to do your own research to help cope with anxiety. There are many natural ways to do it without the help of any drug to cope with anxiety. You could be doing practice meditation, practice yoga. There is, is it called pranayama, which is breathing, practice breathing. So there's loads of different ways to do it. I don't recommend taking any drugs until you've gone through the natural things that you could do without drugs to cope with anything, to be honest. Because once you become dependent on something else that isn't in self, what tends to happen is people develop addictions, and then after that, it's very difficult to undo that dependency on something else. One thing I just recommend as just Chris Jules, life coach, you know what I'm saying? try and do it on your own without resorting to any dependency on anything. If only then you need extra help, see a practiced person that knows a thing or two about it. Yeah. Right. I want to talk about how we as human beings are not the only living things on this earth that benefit from fungi, which we know as being the symbiote mold, which explores to find food for the mushrooms to live off, the fruit. Beneath the surface of all of it, there is a network known as Mycelium. Liz, Michael, have you heard of the Mycelium network? Viewers, have you heard of the Mycelium network?
Yeah, we've spoken about it before, Mycelium. The main body of most fungi is made up.
Yes. Liz? Sorry, I didn't hear you there.
I said that's what I found out about on that documentary, and I found it fascinating.
Yes, it really is. The mycelium has more... Okay, for those, let's go back to the basics. For those that are probably just hearing about it, it's like a living network of internet is the only way I can explain it. So mycelium grows cell by cell like a sprouting, web, like a web, okay? But the web isn't 2-dimensional. It's like 3-dimensional. This web sprouts like roots of a plant into the earth or into wherever it is that the fungi have found, and it starts to grow this network of connections from trillions to zillions of different other mycelium. Mycelium can go for thousands of miles. It doesn't stop. It doesn't break. And what it does is it connects to something else, like a tree, to another tree 100 meters away, or even 1 meter away, to other plants, other species of plants. And what the mycelium does is creates, like I mentioned, the web, which we know as like an internet of information, where other plants can send messages and signals to other plants through this network. And it's a wonderful, beautiful thing that is running all deep in the earth that we live on right now. It is fucking trillions of miles deep and wide, this mycelium network. And if it weren't for this mycelium network, when people talk about the earth is a conscious living being, yes, it really is. Because like we use the internet to communicate and connect to each other, the earth is using mycelium to connect and communicate to each other. One tree, a tree of 80 years old, 800 years old, has its roots deep in this mycelium network. And over the years, it's released its seeds, which are in essence its babies, and its babies have planted their roots, and those little baby roots are communicating back to its mother tree. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen the film Avatar. Have you seen the film Avatar?
Yeah, I have seen both of them.
Yeah. Is it Steven Spielberg? Is it?
I thought it was.
No, James Cameron? I can't remember.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I think James Cameron.
James Cameron. So Avatar is about another world. So it makes it a bit sci-fi-y. But the natives of, is it called Pandora, where they live?
I've never seen it.
I can't
Okay. Well, Michael, you got to see it. But basically,
I'm never going to watch it. It's too long.
see that you've seen it.
basically, there is like this Awa. Awa they call the spirit, the divine, the tree of life, the connection to all living things. And it's a massive tree with years and years and years of, yes, root structure, mycelium structure, connecting all to all living things. Guys, just so you know, this is not myth. That's exactly the world we live on. The mycelium network is like that. And it connects all living things to all living things. And then up comes the fungi that also survives off it, which then obviously survives on other living things like us when we decompose, and boom, up sprout the mushrooms to start the cycle of life again. They are nature's birth and death. They are the Grim Reaper and the Holy Mother that gives birth to us and takes us away when it's time to go. So anyway, I hope that sparks your interest in the power of mushrooms. Liz, Michael, thank you so much for helping me talk about it. You know how it always. So anything else you want to mention about these fantastic fungi before we switch over to the next topic?
No, I'm really interested in the whole microdosing. Yeah, I just going to keep looking into it, and yeah.
Okay. So yeah, microdosing is what a lot of people do to gain the benefits of consuming mushrooms without having the psychedelic experience, the trip, if you will. A lot of people know that it has the power to rectify and, repair damaged neuroplasticity. And this can be done over a period of time, 30 days to 90 days, with breaks in between. A microdose is 1/50th of a psychedelic trip dose. So it's very, very, very small amount of psilocybin. You consume it, you won't feel a thing, but it will start to work with your brain, and it will gradually, over time, rebuild the neuro damage that needs rectifying, if that makes sense. Not only that, helps fight anxiety, helps fight depression. You do definitely start to feel happier and perkier. And not only that, you start to perform much better. I mean, I even heard rumors that this is the type of stuff that they do up in Silicon Valley, where all of our main tech is made. Apparently everyone's there doing it. Oh, you don't microdose? That's odd. It's weird. It's like a culture here. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Liz. Yeah. Michael, is there anything that you would like to add before we switch over?
One sec. I did just see something quite good because I quite like ants and it's something to do with ants. So fungi engages in mutually beneficial relationships with other organisms, like ants farming fungus for food.
Yeah,
I love ants, so that's one thing I do like.
I love that. Yeah. So fungi obviously are not like animals because they can't move, and they are not plants as well, but they are in some way conscious living things. So how does a conscious living thing transport itself quicker than the speed of fungi? Well, like I mentioned, it becomes a symbiote. It attaches itself to all living creatures and expels its spores, because they don't plant seeds, they're called spores, and there's fucking trillions of these things flying around all the time. These spores attach to us and we just transport it for them. Quite literally, they're in us right now. Take a big breath of air, you've just inhaled millions of spores. Like, it's fascinating, it's remarkable.
Oh.
But yeah, Michael, on the money there with that one, spot on.
I love seeing when you walk through the forest and there's like a log, or loads of like random big chunks of sticks or wood, and you just see these like crazy shapes, and it's fungi and it's growing and it's attached to like the side of a log or something. It's like so random that it's just gone on there and just grown. I think it's fascinating. I really do.
Yeah, same. I think it's fucking amazing. And what's even more amazing is how, when you're like open enough to accept it, that we are their creation. Without them, there would be no us. And in essence, that makes them our mother. We have more connection we're more closely related to fungi than anything else on this planet. And it's just amazing. So amazing. Okay. Well then, that was lovely, wasn't it? So, yes, shouts to everybody that's been in the comments right now. Obviously, if you're watching us, whether on the YouTube, on the TikTok, on the Twitch, thank you so much. Shouts to everybody that's hit the subscribe button. I mean, if you've been watching us so far, you know what to do. You know how to do it. Hit the like. And yeah, let us know what you guys think. Or let us know about any experiences that you've had with mushrooms. Okay. Moving on to the next one. The next thing that's really fascinated me recently is the wonderful creature known as the octopus.
This is so random. Like, are you trying to tell us something here?
Well, it is random. It is random. What?
Today?
Well, okay, so I don't know where the idea came from or why I became so fascinated so quickly. Something just dawned on me. Maybe someone planted a seed in my mind time ago and it's just come to the surface again. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then I started to deep it and I'm like, yo, look at these things. So, I mean, Liz, Michael, viewers, I mean, are you as fascinated as I am, or am I just the only one?
Yeah, I guess so. They are interesting. I think that they are funny creatures in the sea, aren't they? I actually used to be quite scared of them as a kid. When I was like really young, and I used to see them, like on nature channels, or if they were in a film, I even if it was animated, I used to find them odd, like creatures. But they're actually quite beautiful, although they are also quite dangerous. So,
yeah, the blue-ringed octopus is highly venomous. They are quite dangerous.
Yeah, just like our fungi friends, some of them are dangerous. You've got to be very, very aware that not all are harmless. Some are quite the opposite. But what I was fascinated about is how they took a completely different evolutionary path to anything else. So when we were little, whatever we were in the ocean, then grew into animals and then decided to come onto land and evolve that way, these fuckers were like, nah, we're going this way. And they started doing their own thing and became octopuses. They are the only of their type. They've got ancestors, like we've got ancestors, like the apes. They've got like, what are they, like mollusks, or do you get what I mean?
As a kid, I thought they were related to jellyfish, but they're not, are they? At all?
Nah, they're not. They're not. And which is something amazing, because I can see how you would think that, because they look similar with tentacles and a dome-shaped head. Yeah or no?
Yeah. And they kind of, that movement in the sea, it kind of looks similar.
Now, that's the beautiful thing about octopuses. Now, as part of their survival, they have the ability to mimic and impersonate other sea creatures. Their body is like fluid. The only solid on their body is their beak and their eyeballs, which are very small, very, very small, which means that the octopus body has the ability to fit into any gap that is not smaller than their eyeball or their beak. And, seeing some of the footage on YouTube about people that set up like octopus mazes, and even just seeing them in the wild, not that I've seen them physically in the wild, just on documentaries and such, how remarkable these move in their environment.
I find it fascinating as well, because don't they have like 3 or 4 hearts?
Yeah, 3 hearts.
Yeah, so I always think, okay, so if one of their hearts packs up and stops working, do they remain alive based on the other 2 hearts? I have weird questions like this. Because surely if you've got like, so we've got like lungs, and we've got kidneys, and so it's like, okay, people donate certain organs that they have spare, and you can kind of function with one. But is that the same for an octopus? So like, if one of their hearts is bad or gets hurt, do the other 2 keep it alive?
Well, they're in different locations. So there are 3 hearts that pump blue-coloured blood throughout the bodies. But I read somewhere they're in separate bits, which
they've got
pump blood to different bits.
They like, do some of their arms stop working if one of their hearts stops working? I don't know. My mind goes off into these weird little places, so I apologise. But if there's anybody that's actually listening, please do comment if you've had the same thoughts, because it will make me feel better.
I can almost guarantee people that.
Yeah.
I love how, yes, shouts to the comments, like someone said about a Netflix documentary called My Octopus Teacher. There's a man who's done a 365 documentary with an octopus that he met in South Africa. There's like these underwater forests, and he found an octopus. And the man's called Craig Foster, by the way. I watched this documentary. Not going to lie, it was very educational, very fascinating to see this connection between man and animal. It got a little bit borderline weird in a way that he really fell in love with it. But at the same time, being mature, you can see that, people do bond with animals. Someone could bond with a horse, someone can bond with their dog. Do you know what I mean? So it shouldn't have been weird, but I did find it weird. Don't know why, but I don't know. You can't fake energy. It was like, you know what I'm saying? You can't fake energy. But end of the day, without him, I wouldn't have gained as much knowledge as I did about this fascinating creature. So one of the things that I love about these octopuses is the fact that they, first and foremost, have over 500 million neurons running through them. And it isn't like us, where ours are in our brain. Theirs run through their entire body, which means they have neurons running from not just their brain and their head, but to their arms and legs. Now, not only are these neurons connected to their arms and legs, these arms and legs have tentacles, the sucky things, yeah? These tentacles are between 200 to 240 on one octopus. Now, they use these tentacles like we do, fingers. Now, this is really going to blow your fucking mind. These arms and legs think independently. They are not connected to one brain that tells them what to do. They are their own thinkers. So they do it themselves. And on these tentacles, they have the ability, like we do, senses. So each tentacle has a taste, a sense of taste, a sense of smell, and a sense of touch. And it sends signals to itself to speak to itself before sending a signal to the rest of the tentacles and the rest of the body that are also thinking for themselves, to the bigger brain that is thinking as well. So they have the ability to make independent decisions. How fucking mad is that? I know what I said there was quite a lot. Try and deep that. Try and get that. Okay? Understand that.
What a creep.
That's like 8 of us attached to each other.
Wow. That would be weird.
Yes, to have 240 fingers, yes. Very weird. And not only do these fingers touch, they can smell, they can taste. It isn't like they just touch, which is what the common thing is.
They don't eat other creatures in the sea, do they?
Yeah, they do, yeah, 100%.
Do
They're
they?
great hunters. Yeah, they're fascinating hunters, yeah.
Yeah, they eat crab,
So for what?
basically anything they can get their hands on.
They don't eat the same as, like, they eat in a peculiar way, I'm sure. I watched something and it said that they eat. They don't consume. Oh, I need to get this right. I'm sure I watched something. I'm sure it was octopuses, where it's like I don't know. Yeah.
As one of the comments that I see you haven't said, she said they eat jellyfish. On that documentary, My Octopus Teacher, you see her catch a crab.
They use enzymes to digest their food. That's what it was.
Say that again, please, Liz.
They use enzymes to digest their food.
Okay. There we go.
What I meant is, they don't just like eat how other sea creatures eat.
Yeah,
No.
definitely. They are not, in my opinion, even though they live in the ocean, obviously they're more than capable of living on land as well. Not for as long. I think it's their personal preference to be in the ocean. Because I believe if they wanted to, they could quite easily adapt to land. But they made a choice to stay in the ocean for whatever reason. Maybe it's easier. I don't know. Easier for them. At the end of the day, they are constantly having group board meetings, quite literally every second. There is 8 different brains on that thing, and they're all talking and they're all thinking independently, which again blows my fucking mind. How one creature can have 8 different independent thinkers within itself. This is what blows my fucking mind.
I wonder what eats octopuses in the sea. What creature?
Oh, predators all the time.
Yeah.
Shark.
Yeah.
Yeah, eels. Yeah, 100%. But you'll be very happy to know, which was going to be my next thing I was going to talk about, how well they are. Stealth is the best way to put it. Stealth. Michael, do you remember some of the, I forget what the word was now, the thing where it's like a word and then it's got like a letter for each word of a certain, like, north, south, east, west, never eat shredded wheat. Do you remember what the camouflage one was from the army?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Was it-
I got it in a book somewhere.
Yeah.
All where we
Yeah,
and everything.
I'll get you started, right? If we think about other animals and their camouflage, can you name me a few and what their camouflage is?
Chameleon.
Right. Oh, acronym. Thank you, girl in the corner. That's it, acronym. Chameleon, yep, nice one, Liz. Love that. Has the ability to what?
Change for its surroundings, so it will match its skin color and its look to look like a tree or a branch or a plant, so it's camouflaged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it sees it, right?
Yeah.
Has to see it, yep.
Yeah.
Any others?
Stick insect.
Stick insect is born as a stick to look like a stick. Yeah, no, perfect. Zebras have stripes because in herds, obviously, they look a lot larger in mass than if they were on their own. Even tigers, to a degree, have certain stripes to make them look like a certain animal. A certain way from all angles. And what else is there? What other ones have alligators? Yeah, keep going. Now, the octopus, I don't even know what their original color is, but they have the ability to change color to match any surrounding in the ocean. Not only do they have the ability to change their color, they have the ability to change their texture. So they can make their skin look rough, they can make it look jagged, they can make it look smooth.
Wow.
Literally, you're 100% right on the next one. What's the next one?
They can change their shape.
They can change their shape. So they can get really, really small or really, really large. They can fold on themselves, completely change their shape to look like coral, to look like water lilies, to look like leaves, whatever they want to look like, rocks. And they also have the ability to change their pattern. So these animals like zebra that are born with patterns, that's not going to change. Dalmatians have spots, all these different patterns on different animals. Octopus have the ability to change their pattern as and whenever they want. They could make it look like my bandana if they wanted to. Do you know what I mean?
That's
fucking crazy.
actually quite cool.
It's fascinating. Fascinating. How they do it, fuck knows. That's some deep science stuff that we obviously are not going to go into so much in the Elite Thinking Club.
We're not.
No.
Well, going back to the heart thing that Liz said about. So, on the 3 hearts, the 2 of them pump blood to the gills, and the 3rd does it to the rest of the body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so possibly they could lose one, but
Yeah, that's interesting.
Love it.
I don't know why my brain is like that, but it just does.
they eat crustaceans, mollusks, and small fish.
Oh, so it likes crabs.
Yes.
And the largest one is 30 feet and weighing over 100 pounds.
Goodness.
All right, I want you to remember that and remind me of that when we come toward the end. If I say if there's anything else you want to add, remind me of that again, please, because there's something I want to add to that. All right. Now, here's something wonderful that we all here on Earth as humans sometimes get so carried away with our brilliance, we forget that there is other intellectual life out there, from the dolphin to the apes, us, and now obviously we're talking about octopus. Now, we know they're intelligent, not because of their ability to survive and their ability to adapt and their ability to shapeshift and all of the other wonderful things, having 9 fucking different brains, swearing, 9 different brains within one creature. They also have shown behavior of pre-planned behavior, which is far more intelligent than your typical other intelligence. Now, if a monkey see, monkey do. Very rare monkey will think for itself to pick up a hammer and a nail and build. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
It will have to see you do it, and then it will do it, because it sees, this is how it's done, I can then do that. Do you get what I mean?
Mm.
Dolphins are a little bit different, obviously. I don't know if it's pre-planned behavior, but they definitely show signs of having fun. They know how to have fun. Do you know what I mean? This is time for fun. Octopuses also do the same, but they do it very differently because they're very solo creatures. They don't actually hunt in packs or stay in herds or have a collective community. They're on their own. So how and why would they choose to have fun? Well, this is a theory of mine. I believe. Sorry, go on, Liz.
Well, how do they breed? How are they still existing if they're always on their own?
Well, it's like I think jaguars. They're on their own most of the time, and then when it gets to breeding season, they find a female, do their business, and then fuck off.
I love how you put it.
Smash and dash, pretty much, for the jaguars.
Do the business.
Hump and dump, yeah. Okay. So, what I was saying was this pre-planned behavior, what they know as the coconut carrying octopus, So when an octopus knows it's going to go from A to B, go on a little adventure, like Bilbo Baggins, for example, it knows to take with it anything it needs because the journey may not be as safe as before. So it has memory. How else would it know? I've done this journey before. I knew what I was up against. Next time around, I'm taking with me empty coconut shells. So they have these split coconut shells and they carry them as they walk. So they use a couple of tentacles to have them like backpacks, and away they go on their journey. So when they get to a point when they need to rest, they use the shells, because obviously they can shapeshift and get small. They get inside the shells and close it. So now they have themselves a portable home. It's like a motorhome.
Well, it does say here that, yeah, so they do have remember past experiences and learn behaviors.
Exactly.
So whatever they've done before, they remember that works.
Yes, exactly.
And they keep that going.
Yes. Now this is wonderful. Which brings me on to funny stories of some octopuses. Now, obviously, for us to study these wonderful creatures, not everyone is like Craig Foster, who we mentioned from the documentary on Netflix. Some people do capture these animals and, put them into cages and whatever and start to study them, basically. Octopuses keep a memory of relationships with people. If they don't like you, they know it's you. They recognize it's you from either smelling you, touching you, even eyesight can see you. And they remember either they like you or they don't. And you don't get a choice. You can't win them over. If they don't like you, they don't like you. Here's a funny story. There's been scientists who've been spat at by octopuses. When they've gone up to the cage, the octopus come up, spat at them, sprayed water at them, water jet spray them. Don't like you. Now, here's the funny thing. These scientists tried to change their clothes with the scientists next to them. So the next time they walk in, they think the octopus only recognizes their clothes. Wrong. Octopus still knew the person who they don't like and was like, no, it's definitely you, and spat at them again. Another funny story. Octopus are so smart that they start to see your pattern. So if you were to leave and turn the light off using the light switch, they are smart enough to know that's the light switch. Not only are they smart enough to know that's the light switch, they figure out that it needs pressure applied to turn it off and on. So if ever you're keeping octopus, be aware they may not like you. Hopefully they do. And also, if you have light switches in your home, or if you do anything in your home, boil a kettle, put the toaster on, they're going to know what that does or go and explore it. And who knows, they may start doing it themselves. If they escape the tank, which has also been recorded in some of the studies, they will escape the tank, explore their surroundings, and then go back into the tank before you come back. They monitor your patterns. They know when you're coming, when you're going, and they have no fear of doing what needs to be done. And this was found by by some scientists who had their octopus in a tank and had fishes in other tanks because they were studying all marine creatures. They started to realize that the fish were slowly disappearing. One by one, each night, fishes were just disappearing and they couldn't figure it out. So they put a camera in the room and they found the octopus was getting out of its cage through a tiny little gap, going into the fishes ones, eating the fishes, climbing back out and getting back into its own home. Brilliant animals. Absolutely love them. Absolutely love them.
So smart.
Liz, Michael, what a fascinating episode.
It's been random and good. I like the random.
You like it?
Yeah.
Happy days. Shouts to everyone watching as well on the TikTok, Twitch, wherever, on the YouTube. If you're new to subscribing to us, thank you so much for subscribing for us. We have just reached a massive milestone of over 700 subscribers in the last couple months. No, we had our goal set for 500 by the end of the year. To be at 700 now, I mean, me and Liz and Michael, we fucking love you guys. So thank you so much.
Yeah, at one point we were not sure if we was going to get over 500.
Do you remember those days?
Days. It was only days ago.
All those days ago.
Or 3 days ago.
I always knew we would because we are a bit, out there and funny and we're just great, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. Just being ourselves. But the fact that you guys like us, it just means the world. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right, Liz, Michael. Sorry. No.
We have fun and we enjoy our chats, and it's kept us sane over the past few years, hasn't it? When you first set up during the pandemic, it certainly kept me sane. So thanks, Jules. Like,
You're welcome, Liz.
mind. I'm not.
Truth Seeker just asked a question.
I saw the question. I saw it. I see you, Truth Seeker.
What?
She asked if Michael's got his tattoo yet, and Michael will answer. You got your tattoo yet?
Well, not yet.
Yeah.
There is a lady in the town I live in.
Yeah.
Shows good promise. So
Yes.
it won't be long.
Michael is getting his tattoos pending. That it is pending.
I may have changed something about it.
Yeah, he's now going to have our faces, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah, that's definitely not going
And I actually think that, that's made my day, because I was a bit disappointed that you weren't going to start with, but now that you are, it's made my year, actually.
I mean, if I got that, it'd have to be on my bum cheek.
Really? I don't mind being on your bum.
I do.
I'm joking.
Okay. You guys are incredible. All right. Yes, all is good. All is good. Is there anything you guys wanted to add to Octopus, by the way, before we move on to the next thing?
You said you wanted to talk about size or something about the octopus?
Yes. Okay. This also took me down. Well, by the way, we're elite thinkers as well. Why I love us and why you're part of us, obviously, is because when you said, Liz, it kept you sane, I realized there's a lot more people out there that think the same as I do. That's what I realized. And I just wanted to create a safe space where you don't feel so alone in being an explorer of thought. Do you get what I mean? Because we think about this all the time. Why not think about this and that and talk about this and that? It's just a safe space for people to feel sane, like you're not losing it. This is perfectly normal to think like this. Do you know what I'm saying? You are an elite thinker. You are what you are. So anyway, that's that. Back to what Michael said about the size of octopuses. Now, I had this thought the other day about mythical creatures, like how for some reason they seem to exist in every culture. Every civilization has recorded history of dragons. Even the Chinese calendar has a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
These things, have made me wonder, did they exist? Did they exist? Because it's not that they're not being seen on all of the different, pictures on the walls, hieroglyphics, ancient civilizations, even medieval pictures of dragons, people slaying these things,
For a hallucination when people were doing the magic mushrooms.
Potentially. But it's very, very amazing to see how this image of a serpent with wings is worldwide. It isn't just like one little subculture. This is worldwide. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Very difficult for, let's say, we've never met, me and you, and you're from another side of the world and I'm from another side of the world, and we both decide to draw something from our imagination. What are the chances that you're going to draw the exact same looking thing that I am?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there is that, I guess.
Yeah. It's very difficult to create an animal of your own. I don't know how long it took that lady to create the Gruffalo, but it's very difficult to create your own mythical creature. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do.
But what has that got to do with the size of octopuses? Well, if you like pirates, like I do, love pirates, Captain Jack and all that, black sails, all them good things. They obviously knew of this sea creature called the Kraken. Kraken is a giant fucking octopus that will swallow ships whole. You can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. You're telling me that they just came out with this? And obviously everyone knows about mermaids, sirens. No? Yes? No?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This ain't... I know we're going into the depths of mythology, mystical beings and all this stuff now. Fuck me, they're talking about mushrooms, talking about, all this sort of shit.
They're going to think we've had mushrooms tonight, I reckon.
You know what? you know what? It even makes me think that you're not thinking about this stuff. This day and age, you know, where's your head at? That's why I was talking about the different consciousness levels. If you're not thinking about this stuff, where's your head at? What, as if like someone will pose something like the Kraken, which has been always there, mermaids always there, dragons always there, in all throughout history. And now all of a sudden, because we live in this tech age, these things are now what they would like us to think as mystical.
But that's the thing. We are conditioned to believe that they are, like in animations and in films, that they are not real and that they are really out there beings, like they're made from someone's imagination. You know, someone creative has just thought, yeah, there's this creature and I'm going to name it a dragon, and it's not real, it's just made up, but we're going to put it in all these different films. And
just in all honesty, I don't believe there was ever dragons or mermaids.
how will we ever know, though?
Michael, I don't know if you're trying to trigger me on purpose or anything, but anyway, I love you. You're my brother, and I'll never, ever not
I don't know.
be grateful for your skepticism. On
Evidence. I have to have evidence, really. Like, I have to look up something, and yeah. What, Jules? Come on. What's your thoughts on it? Come on.
What, on like, well, I am a believer. I'm a big believer. It was only until like a few years ago someone said to me that there's magic in mushrooms. Other than that, I used to just think they were a vegetable, only to learn that they're not even a vegetable recently. Now, I know that you're saying, well, there's physical proof there, Jules. If you live it, you know it. I believe that. Yeah, of course. It's just that these mythical creatures do not exist anymore. Doesn't mean they didn't exist before. Now, to think with the example I used, people globally are painting on pictures of the same mythical creature. It wasn't like something with 10 legs, claws, you know, dual heads.
Could they, over the world, been eating different magic mushrooms, you know, when they were foraging years and years and years and years ago, and were they all seeing a hallucinogenic which was similar? And so they drew
it's like Father Christmas, though, isn't it? Because pretty much every single place in the world has their version of Father Christmas.
But the story stemmed from somewhere.
Yeah, from their own versions of it. So there's like 40 different versions of Father Christmas. The one that we normally use is from Coca-Cola. The one in a red outfit. That Coca-Cola coined in like 1946 or something, because they couldn't sell Coca-Cola in the winter. So they made a fat jolly man in the cold times that symbolized winter, drinking Coca-Cola in the winter. And where sales skyrocketed.
Liz, Michael, if you want to not believe in dragons and krakens and mermaids, that's you.
I'm sorry.
Wait. See. Okay, so you will believe in a kraken, but you will not believe in a dragon. Is that what you're telling me, Michael? You know, fine. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Some people will believe in aliens and not believe in unicorns. I get it. Totally get it. You've never seen one. You've only heard of one, but you're more likely to believe in that one, but not that one. I understand. Me, I will happily accept all. You know? Never seen any of them, but I believe in all of them. But if you want to be picky and choosy about it, by all means, do you with it? Do you? I don't. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm not going to just believe everything that I hear.
I love that.
There's some sort of science behind it.
No, that is why you're on the show, 100%. You need critical thinking, yes.
Kind of, with this sort of thing, I do kind of need to see something, or I loved the film Splash as a kid. If there's anybody else on here that watched Splash with Daryl Hannah and Tom Hanks when she was a mermaid, and I loved that film.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen that. Does that end at a pit?
As a kid, it made me think, oh my God, there are actual mermaids in the sea. And I love swimming in the sea, as you know. And I would quite like to believe that somewhere, somehow, there is such a being. Maybe I could be one day. I don't know. Anyway.
Well.
You never know. Maybe I have some of those mushrooms in the forest, I might become one. You never know.
Never know. But I love that. I love that. Okay. Liz, Michael, is there anything else you want to add to tonight's episode before we say goodbye?
No.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
All good. Thank you for all the subs.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. All right. So from me, Liz and Michael, everyone everywhere, peace and love.
Peace and love.
Hang on.
Hang on. Wait.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
that is
Not your best things of today.
I know. So I was saying goodbye to all those that don't know about that. Most people would say goodbye. Cool, goodbye. That's the episode done. Now, if you're staying around a little bit extra, there's a little bit extra for you that we do every episode. What's special about today?
Yes.
Can I have the first one?
No way have you done your own this time. Go on, Michael, hit me. What's special about today?
It's Truth Seeker's birthday.
Oh, birthday to ya.
Are you kidding me? True Seeker, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. I didn't even know.
We need to be. Day.
Happy birthday. Wait. If we start this for Truth Seeker, which, by the way, is one of our day one subscribers, one of my mods on TikTok, we would have to do this for everyone. You do know that. We're now at 700 subs, right? If we have to acknowledge everyone's birthday.
No, she's one of the mods. She's important.
Happy birthday, Truth Seeker. Didn't even know it was your birthday today. If I'd known, I would have sent you a message. You know I would have sent you a message. But Michael, yes, by the way, shout out, Truth Seeker. Love that. I love that. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, girl. That is very special about today. Oh. But what else is special about today? Anything more, Michael?
No, sorry, that was it. I just wanted to make sure that was said.
I love that. No, powerful. Not sure where Liz has gone. She'll be back though. It is National True Crime Junkie Day.
Like these series.
Yeah, so people obsessed about true crimes. There's a woman called Ashley Flowers. She actually has a podcast dedicated to true crimes. She started it in 2017. It's because of that podcast that sparked the people's interest in true crimes. People may have delved in it a little bit, like, oh, did you hear about that killer from 1980s or whatever, or even like, Jack the Ripper and stuff like that. People knew about these ones, but no one knew about, I know it sounds silly, the regular people committing crimes. Do you get what I mean? So anyway,
Listen to that.
Yeah. Ashley Flowers, she's got a true crimes junkie podcast. Check it out. That's today's National True Crime Day anyway. It's also Answer the Phone Like Buddy the Elf Day. So I don't know if anyone's seen the film Elf with Will Ferrell. And
How'd that go though?
he goes, Buddy the Elf, what's your favourite colour? I don't know how to say it. I haven't seen it.
Vodafone ring me today.
Yeah, you should have answered it. Buddy the Elf, what's your favourite colour? I don't know how he says it in the film. I actually haven't seen the film in detail. I'm not really a Christmas film person unless it's Die Hard, which is 100% a Christmas film. But
I'm pretty sure Bruce Willis said it was.
100% is. You can't have a Christmas without a yippee-ki-yay. You know what I'm saying?
Mother flicker.
Okay. What else is special about today? It is Arabic Language Day, which I love about that. Arabic is spoken in 25 different countries. It's obviously ancient from the Middle East. And yeah, it's one of the most, well, I'd say original languages of humanity, one of the first. And if it weren't for the Middle East, obviously, we wouldn't have the influence on music, culture, science, and coffee. So anyone who speaks Arabic, big up yourself. Yeah, 100%. My barber speaks Arabic. When I'm getting my hair cut, him and all the other blokes that work at their barbers, I don't speak Arabic. I don't know what they're saying. But I like the sound of it. It still sounds good. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And we've got Baked Cookies Day. Today is National Baked Cookies Day. How do you like your cookies, Michael?
I like them not cooked all the way, because I like cookie dough, like proper cookie dough.
Yes.
So I like them gooey.
You're a gooey cookie man. I'm a softie. I like mine soft. I know some people like them crispy, don't they? Are you a fruity cookie man? Do you like fruit in your cookies? I don't.
No, those are not going cookies.
Some people do, you know.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not friends of mine.
How do you like your cookies, guys? It's also Snowflake Appreciation Day today.
Is that funny? The ones that can't handle a joke.
No. We're not talking about wet flannels, Michael. No, you snowflake. No. Actual snow, like a form of H2O. Yes. Obviously, snow is wonderful for some, but the snowflake itself, every single snowflake is individual. There is never one exactly the same. They obviously have a hexagonal shape, but they're unique. And the only thing that you can really compare a snowflake to is like individual human beings' fingerprints. Every single one is unique to that one snowflake. And obviously imagine how many snowflakes it takes just to make a snowball. And then times that by the amount of snow falling from the sky. It's fucking fascinating. Wonderful. Wonderful. If you know a Deborah or a Jeremy, say hello to them today. Let them know that it is National Deborah and Jeremy Day. Fuck knows why, but it is. I know a Deborah actually. I don't know a Jeremy though, but Jeremy Kyle. You must have loved it on this day. But it's also National Twin Day. Know any twins, Michael?
No. When I was younger, I knew some. I said to one of them, "You're ugly, but your sister's nice." No, I did.
It is, yeah, National Twin Day. It's also Wear a Plunger on Your Head Day. I don't know. I don't make these up. It is wear a plunger on your head day. So remember, guys, on the 18th of December, you can wear a plunger on your head without being weird about it. You can tell people it's actually wear a plunger on your head day. So you know.
That must be like a Chinese religion.
It's something weird. Someone done it somewhere. Now everyone's doing it. Say everyone. I've never heard of it. Never done it till now. Famous people's birthdays. Truth Seeker, obviously. You share a birthday with Brad Pitt, Bridget Mendler, Christina Aguilera, DMX, rest in peace, Franz Ferdinand, rest in peace, Steven Spielberg, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everyone that 18th of 12th, it's their birthday. It's a happy birthday. Happy birthday. Gang, gang, gang. I love that. Okay, I don't know where Liz has gone. Obviously, she would have had to shoot if it's something important, and that's fine. Michael, thank you so much again for joining me tonight for another episode of the Elite Thinking Club. You know, I can't do it without you and Liz. You are my yin, my yang, my shield, my sword. You know what I'm saying? You guys are my freedom fighters and my skeptical question everything. And I love that because I need that. I can get so caught up in the woo, you know me now, spiritual me, and then sometimes someone needs to hit me back with some earthly stuff, you know. I need that. Keep me grounded. So I love that. Head in the sky and feet on the ground. Either way, I'm a giant and I love it. You guys, the viewers, hitting the comments, hitting the likes and following us. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you keeping us going. That is real talk. You, to us, are very, very a big part of our motivation to keep going. In essence, you give us purpose. And the fact that more of you have joined us so quickly, so recently, you know, 150 new subscribers, it's like, you know, we've got to be doing something right on it. That's mad. But we're very grateful and you're very welcome. ETC After Dark will be resuming in 2024. The reason we stopped it was like a trial run. We're testing the beta software now and seeing if there's a better way to do it than before. So stay tuned for that. What is ETC After Dark? Well, that is our private members club only. After an episode, we go over to another platform and we have conversations where you can join and have a little private chat with us if you so wish. But yes, that is coming back in 2024. So look forward to that. All right, Michael, I know Liz isn't here, but is there anything that you want to say before we say goodnight?
Well, it looks like she is here, but she's not. I can see her only like streaming on YouTube.
She's here in spirit.
Yeah. No, just again, thank you for everyone that subscribed. Thank you for everyone that's supporting us and keeping us going. Yeah,
For real. Thank you. So from me and Michael and Liz in spirit, everyone everywhere,
and a heart symbol.
peace and love.